There's no perfect investments. And that's the reason why there's Icon. People are going to talk to you about stocks. People talk to you about funds. People talk about the VOL. People talk to you about properties. People talk to you about business. We even have blockchain later on. Why? We need you to understand that there's no one perfect formula. That's why you have to diversify your investment. Very, very important as you learn all of these things is this. Practice due diligence. In anything. In investing, in the bank, in an insurance, in a property, practice due diligence.
There is a law, natural law called the law of diminishing returns. So even if I add more, it will diminish because the capacity has to expand before you can expand.
Ano yung importante sa'yo? Walang tama o mali dito. Unfortunately, dahil nga sa ingay sa labas, hindi mo alam kung anong gusto mo talaga at importante sa'yo. Pag wala ka nito, sasama ka sa ibang tao. Kung ano importante sa kanila, join ka din. So it is very important to find out ano ang gusto mo because eventually, lahat yan nanggagaling sa beliefs.
The economy was created to serve society in order to improve our human condition. So as part of the economy, as investors, you're supposed to be contributing to a better society for everyone.
Leverage is a very aggressive strategy. Proceed with caution. Never borrow money that you cannot pay. Yes. And I think this is just to open your minds about leverage. And this is really how the wealthy businessman thinks.
It is only by tracking your finances you'll be able to know how to maneuver, how to control, and you'll see ano ba yung lifestyle mo that you want to maintain from today until you age.
What we are good at in the market is this. We are good at helping incubate the growth of vendors because we know everybody in the ecosystem. We know people who finance, we know people who provide HR, we know people who provide marketing, we know people who provide sanitation and hygiene. So we are the best people to grow those businesses.
So, why is understanding money critical for women, OFWs, and the next generation? Why? Because what is a nation but a collection of its people?
It's about our personalities, and it has a deep and it has a big impact in everything that we do, including how we handle money, including how we make decisions, and how we keep money, make money, save, and actually invest.
So stocks, recurring assets, recurring income assets, and fast capital appreciation assets. Those are the three things that we have to hold during our lifetime and work for. The second thing is, I'm very excited about the future. I am not bullish because there are many other things we have to sort out before I become bullish, but the future looks very bright.
Financial expert years, just like Marvin, just like Rex, Carl, Jason, the rest of the team, they could update you. But I strongly advise that you also take your personal journey. Read their books, try to read, try to expand your knowledge.
I want whatever is said here will cause you to execute and do something. Because it's time for Filipinos, it's time for you guys to prosper. Why? Because we're the 1%. Your friends are looking at you. The more Filipinos, good Filipinos, have more than enough, you get to be a blessing to the people around you. When you have more than enough, you're now looking for people who you can bless and who you can so. And for me, the stock market is one of the best ways for you to do it. I suggest you invest now because this is one of the best times to invest.
Overcoming obstacles create momentum. Today is momentum. You know why? You paid money for this seminar. It starts something. It is starting something because you're creating something that gets the ball rolling.
Okay guys, good evening. Welcome back to another live stream. This time we have a very special guest. If there will be like a special episode with a special guest and it's very special, this is probably it already. I know over the past years of doing YouTube also, she's been one of your favorite in terms of giving you not just information but making you cry as well. And I think this is something that I hope will be something that will give so much information and value to all of you. But since this is an Ask Us Anything session, feel free to ask as much questions. We have the only or one of the very few blue chip financial practitioners in the Philippines. We have Salve Duplito joining us in the show. Salve, it's an honor to
Hi! Hello! Thank you for the warm welcome. Grabe, ang dami ng tanong agad. Hindi pa tayo nagsisimula, ah.
Yeah, and I hope they enjoy this kasi feeling ko this will be a very very special session. Yun. Ako na lang sige, I want to go start normally we ask questions back and forth first pero para I don't know, we can answer a lot of their questions also. Let's go straight to the questions unless you have an opening statement, you have something that you want to say to everyone that's here. If wala naman, we can go baka
I
meron.
just I just want to tell everybody na I'm very excited to see the Bata Icon 2023. Because alam mo, pinaghihirapan nila Marvin to, and ang galing kasi ng concept because I've been to a lot of investment conferences, of course, no? And hindi lahat kasing responsive, kasing homey, kasing parang it's for everybody talaga. So I really wish that everybody who's here tonight, if you can, come be with us. And I'll try to be there as early as I can so that pwede ako makinig kasi alam ko marami din ako matututunan.
Tsaka pwede kayo magpa-picture. I think yun yung hinahabol ng
Oo.
mga tao kay isang Salve Duplito magpa-picture para sa kanila. Anyways, I want to ask this. So you've been in ABS-CBN for quite some time also, and maybe this is something that relates to how you see things. Question to from YouTube naman from Kimbert Franco. Yung
Mhm.
question is GMA a good stock to buy despite 72% income drop because of advertisers pulling out? And maybe you can add context to this, no? Kasi feeling ko when they say advertisers pulling out kasi nagkaroon din naman ng shift talaga in terms of where the ad spend is going. It's not just purely on traditional media anymore. It na split na rin siya going to a lot of digital content providers also. But I think while all of this is going on, GMA is still parang leaps and bounds ahead of other TV networks na traditional as well. So, anyways, go
Kaya
ahead.
pala minention mo na taga-ABS.
Hindi naman.
Hindi naman, oo.
May experience, at least you know what's happening in the industry versus sa akin, I just see the numbers, I just see kung ano yung mga from an outsider standpoint, ikaw talaga parang you're in the trenches you know what's going, you alam mo yung kalakaran sa industriya, so parang ganun. Tsaka
I
showbiz ka,
will
so
Yeah, I will just assume that this is for a long-term investment, no? Not you're not trying to make money in the next 3 months or something like that, right? So if it's going to be long-term and you're looking at the industry of media as a whole, definitely sinasabi nga ni Marvin, the share of voice of traditional media has gone down a lot. Advertisers, ito talaga yung masasabi ko sa advertisers, ha. They always say digital is already the big thing nowadays. But when it comes to putting money as an advertiser to, for example, the digital presence of GMA or ABS-CBN, wala pa dun. Mas malaki pa rin ang nilalagay sa trad media. I think they're putting money in trad media and the influencers, the digital ads, ganon. Meta, Instagram, TikTok specifically, doon nagpupuntahan. So if you're going to put money in GMA, you want to make sure that the industry as a whole is as of traditional media is something that will grow as you grow. So,
okay.
kung in 10 years feeling mo hindi na talaga gagaling kasi yung management, hindi nila pinaglaanan ng R&D on how to make trad media more sustainable, wag ka na lang maglagay ng pera dun. Feeling ko your money might grow somewhere else if that is your view. I see a lot of problems in that aspect of how trad media is trying to solve its irrelevance issues, irrelevance problems. So ako, if 50-50 ako dito because as you said, I'm in this space. Ayoko naman sanang siraan, but this is your channel and I would like to be as honest as I can.
No
We're
naman,
not there yet. We're not there yet. As trad media, we're not in that space yet where we can fight head to head with the other places where companies put ad spend in.
But is a 72% income drop something that's alarming, from at least from your perspective? Kasi it could just be at this moment, and then suddenly the next few quarters also, you see massive revenues also that will that will come in. Kasi from for people who palang primarily look at the numbers, parang, oh, down na siya, may iba naman stocks that are performing better, and then they're getting better returns. Baka my money might be better. They're not, parang it's not just anymore a question of, do I put it in a media stock versus maybe this company that is in another industry, and then they're getting better earnings also.
Ako, ang idea ko dun sa 72% income drop, that's a statistic that might give you the temperature now, but as a value investor, you're looking at future value rather than what the market is doing now. I'm not so much guided by that. In fact, when I think a company will have a lot of value in the next 5 to 10 years and the 72 income drop happens because of something that's just tactical. Alam mo yung may inaayos lang sila sa mga cogs and wheels, but that eventually will provide that growth over the long term, I'd buy. I'd buy. But if there is something so structural and so pivotal in the growth of that industry or that company as a whole, then that's a big question mark for me.
Got it. So, pero what's interesting also is that, similar to what ABS-CBN did, naka-pivot sila eh. Everything right now is primarily digital, also pati yung revenue drivers. Parang inisip ko, what's stopping the other companies from also doing it? Lalo na they have better cameras, they have studio space, they already have the staff. Yung difference na naman, di na lang siya dadaan sa traditional frequency. So I think yun yung lamang niya versus others na parang they can do things professionally, and it's done in a better format as well.
Alam mo minsan feeling ko nga yung mga tao hindi yung professional yung pinapanood nila eh. Kasi nagkaroon na tayo ng problem with credibility. Hello, Aris. Oy, magsha-shoutout muna ako sa aking mga beshies. Hello, Aris. Nandiyan na sila.
International ang fan base na Italian, Dubai, na may boyfriend na European. Grabe talaga. Okay.
Grabe siya. Pero alam mo, Marvs, ano rin eh, it's also important to support trad media because this is where you're going to try to fight the divisiveness in our world today. Because at least in trad media, there are gatekeepers eh. As opposed to, some outfits na wala, tumanggap ng press release, ginawa ng report, tapos yun na, hindi na double check, hindi. In trad media, just so you guys know, before a certain news item comes out on your television screen or in your phone, dadaan ng editor ng ilang beses. At ito double check. May mga standards kasi tayo. So, yun din naman ang gusto ko sana, sana that we ourselves, the trad media people, find a way to be more relevant in the world today, to show the world that we are needed, that gatekeepers are needed, so that conflict of interest don't go to the television screen of our little kids. 'Di ba? In that way, we want support for trad media. But trad media itself, we need to work harder. Kasi people consume content differently, as Marvin knows.
Got it. So, may questions pa si Kimbert, pero to be fair with the others also who sent questions,
Pero wait, ang CAGR niya 5.8%, not higher than GDP.
Tapos,
Unfortunately. 5-year CAGR.
That's relatively lower. That's relatively lower. So, ito question si Kimbert. Kung may time kami, Kimbert, we'll come back to you. Kasi prinamis ko sa kanila na the first ones who send questions are the ones that we will answer later on as well. Or yun yung may priority. But I'll go through the others first, and then let's see Kimbert. You have Deo, Jude, De Vera, sabi niya, see you at Icon. Hanapin niyo sa picture talaga yan. Ito interesting, medyo financial planning yung question, bagay kay Salve. So we're having someone na all around talaga, exposure sa media, tapos financial planner, stocks, lahat na talaga na pagdaanan niya. This is from YouTube again, si Croc Can Cro. 600,000 pesos, where do you suggest? REITs or 1 hectare farm lot? I'll answer for diretso sa akin. I'll say for me, REITs ako kasi I like the liquidity, but you might have a better You might have a better answer. And you're super rich producer. So
So as a financial planner, I have a lot of questions before I can answer that. How much of that is your total? What is the percentage of this amount in your total portfolio, right? Because it cannot be if your total portfolio is just this 600,000, you can't put all of it in REITs, nor can you put it in a farm lot. And depende rin sa capability mo. Do you have the skills to farm? Do you have the kasi pag farm lot yan, ikaw ba magpo-produce nung mga sorry. I mean, this is what you do in financial planning. You ask more questions than you actually give because kailangan swak siya dun sa needs mo. When do you need this money? Retiree ka ba? Ganun.
parang ano, Salvi, no, sayang yung farmland if you just buy it for the land and you don't make it productive? Or would you suggest na, assuming na sobrang pera to lahat, na they buy the farmland pero nagla-land bank lang sila with the hope of someone buying it later on? Or would it be better na talagang there's an intended use for it before they buy it?
Ako feeling ko kung pa-retire na 'to, mas okay yung REITs kasi madali ang exit. So if you need the money quickly, you will be able to sell it because the stock market is more liquid than a farm lot. A farm lot might take you 3 years to sell. O kung magproprodukto ka naman, that's business na. Hindi na yan passive income.
Tsaka hindi lang yun, parang kung as compared to buying the land lang and then holding it, yung REIT, it's income producing eh. So without, parang even if you hold on to it, you get something on a quarterly basis also. So I
Correct.
think you merit ng...
May passive income ka talaga sa REITs
Pero-
because of dividends.
Kung si Salve Duplito lang, disregarding everyone else's, kung ikaw, you have 600,000, tapos on top of lahat na ng kayamanan mo ngayon,
Extra money, like I don't really need it. Siyempre, farm lot ka. Kung hindi mo kailangan ng pera, farm lot ka, lalo na kung nandun ka na sa stage ng buhay mo na masarap magluto katabi ng katabi ng mahangin na ano ba? Palayan, ganyan. Eh di dun ka sa farm lot para na-enjoy mo na siya, pwede mo pa siyang ibenta eventually.
Got it. Before we proceed to the next question, guys, abangan nyo hanggang huli kasi magpapayak si Salvi sa huli. So kung gusto nyo maluha sa finances, hintayin nyo
Walang ganyanan. Over-promise, under-deliver tayo. Dapat under-promise, over-deliver. Hi, Jake. Magandang gabi.
This is a question again from YouTube again. This one naman is from a newbie in the PSE. Bender Rodriguez. An observation from a newbie in the PSE dapat. Any good news about the specific stock you hope will be a catalyst that will move prices higher, but price increase doesn't materialize, correct?
Ikaw, ano sagot mo muna?
Medyo dinadigest yung question. So,
Oo nga eh.
okay, pag may news sa isang stock, you hope
Aakyat
it
presyo
will be
niya.
a catalyst for prices to go higher. Pero, bakit hindi siya nagmamaterialize? So, sige, I'll answer first. Minsan kasi, pag lumabas niya yung news, parang wala na yung ano eh, parang there's such a term that you sell on news when it actually materializes. Not unless I think this is how I look at it. If people are expecting something, tapos they get what they're expecting, hindi talaga siya akyat. Not unless if they're expecting something, tapos yung lumabas is much better than what they're expecting. Pero
Naka-price in na kasi expectations.
Naka-price in, pero napansin ko din, may mga instances na sobrang ganda ng earnings more than what was estimated, pero hindi talaga gumagalaw yung stock price. So it's hard to say if a specific event causes the prices to move up kasi hindi ko rin alam eh. Ilang beses ko na iniisip kung anong nagko-cause nun over the short term is good earnings enough. I mean, nakikita ako mga earnings call, maganda yung earnings na disclose, down yung stock at that particular time. May times also na lower inflation or higher GDP, down yung market also at that time, even if they say that the stock market is a forward-looking indicator. Kasi in my opinion, when the data comes out already, whatever information that's connected to that nasa stock market, it would have been digested earlier on, kaya siya umaakyat or bumababa prior to that. So, I think when the news essentially would come out, either nakaakyat na siya prior to that or nakabagsak na siya prior to that also, or may chance na tumuloy siya sa pag-akyat or pagbaba pero nagkaroon na siya ng movement prior. So, yun.
I totally agree with you, Marvin. And there's also just one more thing. Hindi ko na i-edit yung sinabi niya, or he already said it in a very fantastic way. I also want to share lang na in the Philippine market, sometimes stock prices really don't move logically. Fundamentals, technicals, sometimes they don't move stock prices. Ganun lang talaga here. I think because the market here is still very shallow, there are movements that are affected by politics rather than anything else. Minsan, gumagalaw lang talaga sa ilalim, ganun. Kung ano yung nagpapagalaw na mayaman, yun yung dun papunta yung stock. But there are times when you do your analysis properly, you'll make money on certain stocks because naiintindihan mo kung sino yung nagmamanage niyan, if they're investing in R&D, if they have a good profit margin, and the owners are capable of increasing that profit margin over time. So, minsan ako talaga, to be really honest with everybody here, this is the first time I'm gonna say this. I am heavily influenced by some friend I know who invested heavily in the US market. And then he gave me this observation na talagang hindi fundamentals ang nagpapagalaw.
Love.
It struck me. It really struck me. Generally, you can say that, but I also want to say that there are gold mines here and there that allow you to put your money in stock that is sort of parang meron siyang bubble that is not affected by all the politics and all of the things that are happening around it. So it really depends on how you do your stock analysis.
So, I'll give something very relevant to people, no? Para at least very, very recent lang. Yung rumor sa MPI going private, that has been for
Yeah.
months. So, if you look at the chart sa MPI, you can see it, February, March, nag-pump yan. February hit 4.6, somewhere around March hit 4.6, nag-correct sila pareho ulit. And then, days before again, na talagang lumabas na yung totoong disclosure, it started going up already. Nasa 4. And then when the news broke out, nag-4.4 siya. Pero, that's what I'm saying. It's way before things happen, for whatever reason also, the price already is showing itself. Parang ganun. Since napasok natin MPI, gusto mo sagutin yung MPI question, babalikan ko na lang to. Ayoko sana balikan, pero sinabi ko na rin yung MPI. Do you want to answer this? Kimbert Franco, Sir Marvin, what will happen to my stock in case I did not sell my MPI because of the low selling price? And by the way, mukhang Kimbert, hindi mo napanood yung video na may pinost ko na video about MPI 3 weeks ago. May interview rin ako with Salve Duplito, I think less than 2 weeks ago also, where we talked about it. Pero do you wanna answer this essentially?
Sure.
Sagutan natin to, pero
Very quick lang, also for those who have not watched that video, as you know, it's just privatizing. So the company will still be there. It will still be able to give you the dividends that you've been used to getting. Yun lang, magkakaroon ka lang ng problem eventually when you want to exit, because you will have to, it won't be traded anymore in the public stock exchange. You will have to look for a buyer or make sure that the company buys your shares from you. Kung maliit lang yan, parang medyo mahirap na makipag-negotiate kay Manny Pangilinan, na yung 50,000 ko, benta ko na sa'yo, ganyan.
Pag binawas pa yung mga notaryo, mas malaki.
Baka wala na. So yun lang naman ang magiging problem. But you know, really, the company will still be there. It will operate as it will. And if you think that there's going to be a lot of value in the next 5 to 10 years, you might make a lot of money. The exit lang ang difference.
Got it.
Yeah. Also, merong nagrereklamo, 'di ba? Gusto nila mas mataas na rate.
Eto, may tanong ako based sa previous na pinag-usapan natin. So ano tingin mong mas madaling ibenta, yung MPI shares na private or yung farmland?
Well, if you know the people I know, madali lang yung farmland.
Benta nyo na lang kay Salve kasi sure yan, may liquid. Ano yan, si Salve yung market maker pag real estate. So wala kayong
Wow.
pag ganun.
I wish.
Ito, si Ricky Sanchez. Hello po, may PH stockbroker po ba na maliit lang ang fees per transaction? I noticed na mahal lang kasi ng 20 peso fee na sa ibang broker. So, I'll answer this lang para quick lang siya. Most of the brokers pare-pareho lang yung fees nila. Buying and selling pareho lang. It will be somewhere around 1.49% including taxes, tsaka ano pag nagbenta ka na, tsaka bumili ka, all of the fees that you'll actually pay. Pero as far as I know, what you pay per transaction is the same. The commissions that they have across the board is the same as well. Unless baka Salve you have something newer that I don't know.
Same lang, same lang. Pero yun na, pero nagugustuhan ko tong tanong na to kasi it puts a spotlight on the fees. So when you're making an investment, do not forget that the cost of your investment includes all the fees. So if you're buying and selling very quickly, parang ang daming buying and selling, baka mamaya yung profit mo naubos na sa fees, lalo na kung maliit lang yung amount. So be careful of that.
And it puts a spotlight also na pag kinumpare mo na siya head to head sa US kasi ano na commission free na siya eh. And then sa crypto
Yeah.
it's 0.001% yata of the trades. Eh. So parang maybe that's the comparison na bakit ganyan 20 pesos etc. But yeah, let's continue. Bender Rodriguez. However, if it's hindi, yun din pala yung kanina. Okay. Ito si Cornelius. Hindi ko nabasa, sorry Bender. Dapat yung questions nyo magkasama kasi hindi siya lalabas. Parang pareho tayo, ganyan din ako mag-text eh, na enter ako.
Minsan nga boses lang eh, i-record niya yung sarili niya.
Pwede, pag ano, mas mabilis Cornelius V, good evening sir. What are your insights to why all except REITs stock price are down? Thank you po. Is this parang the market in general or talking about
REITs. I suppose they're talking about, kasi impossible naman na all stock prices are down because that's not true. Some prices are actually went up.
Bakit, is it for the day? Or
baka REITs,
so if it's for the day, okay lang, it's normal naman yun eh. There will be days pa nga na sa dire-diretso down sila red eh. It will always be part of the anatomy of the stock market that the stock price can't be up all the time and it can be also na successive downward moves yung market also. And then meron din talaga na kunyari may storyline siya lang yung up, the rest are also down. So normal lang yun. Para sa akin, I'll say this. It doesn't matter to me the other stocks that are up or down kung hindi ko naman sila hawak, hindi ko sila binabantayan. I only look at the ones that I own
that you have in your portfolio
or the ones that I potentially plan to buy or sell also later on. So okay lang sa akin. So parang there was a point in time na kunyari hawak ko tong stock na to, nabenta ko na, linipat ko sa stock na to, yung kung umakyat pa siya later, minsan nakikita ko pero hindi ko na masyado naisip kasi I don't have any positions there anymore. So something like that. Salve, do you have it?
There are two hats kasi when I look at the market. One is as a journalist, one is as an investor. So same lang kay Marvin. Hi, Dayang. Pag investor hat, you know, it's exactly the same as Marvin. Pag I give up on this stock already, nabenta ko na yan. Meron mga times na after mo ibenta, umakyat pa ulit. There's no use bitching about it, di ba? Kasi tapos na eh. You already sold it. Pero huwag na kayo papa-apekto. Pero as a journalist, I really also have to look at the broad market as a whole.
Yun yung ongoing joke sa crypto eh. Pagkabili mo, dun mo bumababa. Pagkabenta mo, dun siya umaakyat.
The same din naman sa stock market sometimes, di ba?
Pero as in talagang,
volatile kasi.
Sobrang OA, parang pagka-beta, biglang nag 10 times. Okay. This one naman from Anthony Marasigan from YouTube again. There's more from YouTube now. Explain how you would develop an investment strategy that consistently achieves high returns than the overall market while minimizing risk. Ayan. Si Salve talaga yan, never natalo sa market. Joke lang.
Oy! Natalo na. Para ako, imposible yung kung talagang in the market ka, you can't claim na hindi ka natalo. Because of course, I've lost money. Okay, so, when you develop an investment strategy, you choose one. First of all, you choose an investment strategy. You can't say you're a long-term investor and all of a sudden, pag nagbagsakan, naging short-term ka na. Or you can't say fundamentals ka and then all of a sudden, nagte-technicals ka. You have to choose a particular investment philosophy first. So, are you a value investor? Are you a momentum trader? Are you, you have to decide on that. That's the pinakaunang-unang problem by people who have lost a lot of money, is that when the market goes against them, they change their strategy. So that's number one. And then number two, when you decide, for example, ako, and on my end, I'm a value investor, very, very long term. I do not hold my stocks forever. I am not that rich. Like Warren Buffett, no? Hindi naman ako ganon. Usually, within 3 years, pag hindi masyadong gumagana tong stock na to, I reevaluate. But I do evaluate every 6 months to rebalance my portfolio. How do I, so my investment strategy fundamentals, I look for not I'm not moved. Sinabi to ni Marvin about me before that my conviction is not based on the stock price movements or even of GDP. I can invest even the economic growth is down. My conviction derives from value. Right now, the price is like this. When I see stocks who I believe their value will be up here in 10 years or 20 years, I know that the price will eventually catch up with value. So, kailangan nakakabili ako at least 20% discount, Marvs, from future value. Better if higher. And then I hold on to the stock and then I rebalance. I look at the owners, I look at R&D, I look at the salespeople, I look at profit margins, cash flow, I look at leverage, utang. Like, one stock that we know is super heavily in debt and people don't realize it because it's hidden in their balance sheet. Hindi masyadong I mean, sometimes when you look at the balance sheet, there are some things stuck in there and you really have to ask questions. So most of the companies that I buy, it's because I have talked to their president or their CEO and have asked questions and found the answers very fulfilling.
Grabe. Pili ka lang sa dalawa. Randall Chongson, overvalued, undervalued.
Grabe ka, undervalued pa si Randall sa lagay na yan, ah.
Okay, okay. So malaki
Meron pa yan, ibubuga.
so bibilin mo siya, tingin mo may 20% upside pa.
Feeling ko naman.
Okay.
Higher pa than 20% yung kaibigan natin.
So strong buy.
Oo, strong buy pa yan.
Okay, mamaya tatanungin ko ibang speakers.
Baka gawin na dalawa, twice a year na yung icon.
Anyways, back to a YouTube question, Gavin Marshall. What do you guys think about the up and coming SM REIT?
Ikaw naman.
Actually, I haven't really looked
Ang
at
laki niyan.
specific.
That can be the biggest.
Yun nga, I just know it's the biggest, pero lahat nung contents, nung kung ano yung laman niya, I haven't really seen it yet. Pero, one of the biggest triggers kasi for me is the dividend yield. Mas importante sa akin, dividend yield for it. So, ito na lang, dividend yield, then I start looking at the quality of the tenants, where the tenants are, then how long are they actually locked in dun sa REIT na yun. And then I look at also the occupancy rate. So yun lang, if the yield is high and then it checks all of the boxes here, okay sa akin yun. So I think the biggest question for SM is, and ito yung mapapansin ng mga tao sa mga medyo mas sikat na brand names, their yields will be relatively lower than the ones that are relatively also smaller. So you'll make, kasi what SM can guarantee is because it has a brand name and it's big, and then alam mo na they'll be there for the next maybe 100 years also. They can offer it at a smaller, they can offer the price higher para the dividend yield will be lower, pero people will still buy them. So
may premium.
You can have that discretion. I'll give you an example. The dividend yield of C REIT is higher than A REIT. A REIT is something that's more traditional and also better. Pero I've been buying C REIT kasi I like the yields. I like it na yung lease ng ano doon is 30 years. I also like it na sa renewable energy space. Then I also like it na nakalock in siya ng matagal, and then yung tenant niya ano lang hindi siya parang call center na madaling umalis kasi when you set up something for renewable, ando ka na for a very very long time.
Hindi ka
So
naman magpapalit-palit ng source of energy sa
oh,
factory mo or sa building mo eh. Tama.
and yun, parang hindi siya parang pag ano after 5 years malulugi siya papalitan kasi there will be a very very strong need for it moving forward eh. So andun na yun for a very long time. So a REIT might be I'm not saying I don't have a REIT. I'm saying that kunyari I'll pick right now. I'm very centric sa yield na pwede kong makuha kasi ganun din eh. Kung hindi naman sila kung if they can head to head over the next 10 years pareho nila ma-maintain yung binibigay nila, di doon na ako sa mas malaking makukuha ko kasi you have more bang for the buck that you put in also. So yun. So to answer the question, I haven't really looked at SM yet.
Yeah.
Pero kung when I start looking into it later on, yun yung apat na mga titingnan ko. Yun.
Yeah. I like the idea of SM REIT. It's not going to be just one of the biggest here in the Philippines but also in the region. So in that sense, I think despite the premium over the price, it's a good one to have in your portfolio, I believe.
Hindi ba siya negative though that if it's something that's very big already, hindi siya katulad ng A-REIT na nagdadagdag sila ng property, they keep adding and adding and adding and adding and adding, then it makes the property also more valuable kasi mas madami na silang leasable space. Parang if you sell everything in one go, parang whatever you add, it might not be as significant anymore.
I think I'm looking at it from an economics perspective. In terms of economies of scale, it will be easier to maximize the returns from all of those properties because you have a huge pool of resources. So, baka yun. The A-REIT, I think, I do believe and I've talked to different analysts about this. The run-up of the stock price of A-REIT from IPO listing to
50.
a year ago, I don't think it's gonna happen again, unfortunately.
Pero para for me kasi I don't look at the upward movement is parang
Secondary sa'yo, mas dividends.
kasi hindi ko naman control kung anong galaw niya in the next 4 years eh. Pero kung alam ko na yung dividends na bibigay niya, kunyari, never na magtaas ng dividend yung A-REIT from now until the next 50 years. Alam ko na yung matatanggap ko 2 years from now, 4 years from now, 6 years from now. So, parang it gives me a sense of certainty and stability already na mag-crash man yung market, I know I can receive something on a quarterly basis. And you can't say that for other assets, parang ganun. So, I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's a good point for all of those who are investing for regular cash flow, right? So, and when it comes to financial planning, you have to figure out, are you investing this for capital appreciation or are you looking for regular cash inflow, passive income from all your investments? Those are two very different objectives and you have to be very clear about it because sometimes naman not for REITs for other kinds of companies, generally if you're looking at dividends, the company is giving you back a portion of their profits, right? If you believe that the company can is the best organization to grow capital, then para sa akin, wait, wag mo nang sa akin ibigay kasi pag binigay mo yan sa akin, gagastusin ko yan. Ibalik mo na lang sa kumpanya mo para mas malaki yung capital appreciation mo over time. So if that is your thinking, I mean, I'd rather not get the dividends because this is not yet the period of time in my life where I will need it because I still have active income. So that can be one of the conversations that you can use. Pero if you're a retiree or, you're not very sure of your active income and you absolutely need that extra capital moving forward, then Marvin's decision-making process is very, very important to have then.
Got it. Well said. Pag si Salve talaga, grabe talaga. Parang the eloquence alone. Parang kahit di ako nagsa-stocks, mapapa-stocks ako. Parang ganun yung...
Wow.
Ito, for the first time in my YouTube channel and in my Facebook channel, may tanong na ganito. Never ako nakaranas ng ganitong tanong. From Aris Baloran, pwede ba mag-mine sa naka-black na dress? So, check out ka ba? Parang gano'n. So, pwede, is there Is that a yes or a no?
Ay nako, nanay ako niyan. Kaya
Sabi niya, is it okay to
kaya
call
ganyan yan mag-joke.
magkasunod pa siya, may nag-hello na taga Dubai na may boyfriend sa Europe. Eleanor Pangit, sabi niya, hello.
Oh, tuloy na ba yung Europe boyfriend na yan?
Oh,
Talaga
so
ba?
guys, nakita niyo yung pangalan below. Kung single din kayo, tapos gusto niyo, ay nawala, single din kayo, tapos naghahanap kayo ng pag-ibig. Yan,
Pwede, pwede.
single,
Oo,
stable
pwede
income.
kami mag-broker ni Marvin.
Tapos 10% ng wedding gift sa amin. So,
Tama.
5-5. Yan. Okay. Ito, medyo regulatory. Is it considered regulatory or policy? From Capable Kappa, kailan po magkakaroon ng shortage at
Ay, naku. Alam mo, last time nakausap ko si Ramon Monson, kahit siya nga sinasabi niya, ay naku, ang tagal naman. So, I don't,
It's SEC, no, not them.
ha?
It's SEC, no, not them.
They are waiting for SEC
Yeah.
to make that happen. So the PSE is really ready to do that. They want to do it. They think it's going to unlock a lot of value in the market, pero hindi pa yata ready ang SEC. I will ask for you. O, di ba? Text ko na ngayon. Gusto mo?
Yeah, yun yung advantage ng sa lahat ng mga na ka-live natin. Ito talaga yung malakas kapit sa kahit saang branch ng So, lagay niyo lahat yung mga gusto niyong tanong. Kung kailangan niyo ng driver's license, tanong niyo na rin. So, baka masabi niya.
Pwede, punta kayo sa probinsya. Bukas agad-agad meron na kayong driver's license. Papadala ko kayo sa'yo.
Kailangan niya ng booking sa passport renewal. Tanong niyo rin. Passport kayo ni Salve.
Diretso kayo sa VIP lane.
This one naman, YouTube again, from Edward Aguila. Good morning to everyone. So, baka taga-abroad siya or talagang very optimistic siya sa buhay. This is my first time to join such a session. Let's say I was able to save 100,000 from my 9-to-5 job and I have zero idea about business or investment. Where will I put my money? Ayan. Yan yung mga gusto tanong ni Salve. Mga ganyang type of question.
Ang weird ng sagot ko niyan kung may utang ka, ibayad mo muna sa utang mo. Kasi kung may utang ka, tapos you're paying interest of what, I don't know, 120% compounded per year, you won't make that much money in the stock market. So kung ako sa'yo, magbayad muna ng utang, you'll save 120K. If you don't have emergency...
Okay, bayad utang.
Sorry, what? Huh?
First
Again?
step, bayad utang.
Bayad utang muna. Alam mo, hindi na-realize sa mga tao yun how much money you can save if you just pay credit card debts. Alam mo yung balance transfer, hindi totoong zero interest rate yan Kasi meron akong client na ganyan, Marvs. Natutuwa nga ako sa kanila because they didn't see it. And then I saw it in their balance sheet. And then sabi ko, pwede bang itong pera natin, ibayad muna natin ng utang. And then, before they knew it, they saved a lot of money just paying debt. Oh, that's an insight I hope everybody will get. And then second, kung wala ka pa emergency fund, wag mo na muna i-invest yan. Emergency fund mo muna because you don't wanna have to take your money out of the market at a loss if you suddenly need to be brought to the hospital, right? Sexy ang investment. I know this. Lalo na if you're watching Marvin all the time and looking at all of the charts and wondering how much money you can make from a particular stock investment. Sarap. Sarap talaga isipin nun. But foundations first. Now, if this is extra income, and you have no idea about business or investment, the best investment that you can make in that 100,000 is to get a ticket to Icon 2023.
Ayan So, since sinabi...
Diba? The best investment is first here. Oo.
So, yan yung Icon. Meron tayong QR code with discount pa for the stream.
May discount pa. I never want anybody to invest just because you're following somebody's recommendations, whether that's mine or Marvin's. Dapat may conviction kayo, due diligence kayo. Kung may alam ka na, tsaka ka lang maglagay. So, this is what Warren Buffett also said. The best investment anyone can make is in education. Kasi dun hindi ka na maguguyo. You won't lose it. You won't lose the money because you learn first. You won't make that much return in any market or in any business. Medyo philosophical, but it's
true. Pagdating sa Icon, tapos makita ka nila, tapos biglang doon na magpa-consult, tapos ang dami ng papel na dala, ito yung buong finance.
Magbayad din, may bayad po. I mean,
Af-
okay.
after after ng selfie, after ng selfie. Anyways, you were saying something?
One of the things that you could invest in is a fee-based financial advisor. Alam ko, but you have to choose. Like you're choosing a stock, you have to choose also carefully who you want to advise you. Ang mga tao mahilig humingi ng free advice. Pero hindi natin, nakakalimutan natin na some of these free advice may kasamang conflict of interest. So, magbayad tayo for advice that we really want and we really need. Yung malinis, walang mga nakakabit-kabit, 'di ba, Marvs? Yan. So, that's a good investment. Okay,
Alright,
tapos na yung philosophical. Kung 100,000 na super extra money, wala kang utang, meron kang emergency fund, meron ka na ibang klaseng investment, meron ka ng jowa, tapos, ito talagang extra money mo na. At sana may idea ka na about business or investment. You would want to, I think, start off with an index fund if you want to get your feet wet in the market. You will have to pay a management fee, pero at least you don't have to make all of the daily decisions yourself. And then, when you get used to that, baka pwede ka na mag-aral ng stocks paunti-unti.
Got it. Feeling ko,
Ikaw, Marks, saan mo lalagay yung 100,000 mo?
pinaka-answer ko dyan, kung di mo pa alam mo saan ilalagay, lagay mo muna sa bangko lahat. Kasi, it's easier to lose money if parang you don't know where to put it. That's what, tapos yung motivation mo lang is gusto mo kumita or matatalo ka sa inflation. Ako okay lang ako na matalo ako sa inflation until I figure it out where I want to put it. Kasi people need to realize that pwede ka matalo for the next few months or years sa inflation, pero life is long eh. What is losing 7% of your money on year 1 pero you suddenly get 100% on year 5? Parang gano'n. So, I don't look at it as something na kailangan ko
Huwag kang magmamadali.
para mag-invest just for the sake of investing. It has to be something na um, it's something na nakaplano talaga na buo yung loob ko na papasukin ko. Pero that being said, kung 100,000 yun, tapos monthly, alam niya, sabi niya, 100,000 na papasok on a monthly basis. So may expectation yan at the end of the year, it will be 1.2 million pesos already. And that's something very significant. So gagawin ko, on the first month, may 100,000 ako, I'll take out the 10,000, then I'll try everything already with the 10,000 pesos, not with the goal of making money from it, but just to learn from an experiential standpoint na pwede ka mag-open ng US account, 50 pesos lang, pwede ka na mag-trade sa stock market sa Philippines, 5,000 pesos lang. MP2, 500 pesos to be able to start. If you go to sa GCash, meron din sila G-Invest, 50 pesos lang. So there's a lot of options out there that they can try for 10,000 pesos. And when you look at it at the end of 1 year, 10,000 pesos out of 1.2 million pesos that you get is a very, very small amount. Pero yung matuturo sa'yo ng 10,000 pesos na yon will be far more than you can learn in school or reading a book or watching a YouTube video kasi napagdaanan mo talaga. So, yun. Ako, that's what I may do with that also. Something.
Perfect.
Okay, that being said, balik na tayo sa stocks ulit. Si Jab naman from YouTube. Grabe yung sa YouTube. Never ako natawag na idol, pero natawag ako na idol ngayon dahil kasama kita. Nadamay ako ng mga.
Wow.
Di ba nasama ako sa
yan
parang mga never nangyari sa akin yun. So, Jab, hindi ko gusto ko bigyan ng ticket sa Icon. Pero anyways, sige, DM mo ako sa Twitter. Pero is ASEN, from a value investor, super yaman, blue chip, financial practitioner standpoint, in its current level, a good buy for the long term. 10-year hold. 5 to 10 years.
Tinitignan ko hindi ko memorize yung financials ng ASEN. It's fairly valued right now, I believe. 6, no? 6 pesos, up 0.3%. Its operating margin is 45.5. Return on equity is 8.7%. I haven't looked at it recently, that's why. Pero ang tinitingnan ko, if you wanna look at a 5-year CAGR is 15.6, not bad. At least it's growing higher than GDP rates, ha?
So I'll say this. There was one time nasa 10 yan eh, somewhere around that price.
Mm.
I don't have my charts with me, pero alam ko, because one of the reasons why bumabagsak siya, because they kept raising money and then it was sold at a certain price that was lower than the price dun sa market. That's why it also drove prices down as well. Uh, Normally when I look at stocks, gusto ko yung net income niya is continuously growing. Pero you treat ASEN different because you don't value it for where it is right now. You will value it later for what they can do later on when they start opening more projects also, and then that's where the revenue
Mm.
will come in. Pero that being said, may halong speculation element na rin siya kasi you don't treat it like the way you look at URC or the way you look at Jollibee or the way you look at say other investments na mas predictable yung ano, kasi right now they're at the phase where they're building their portfolio of renewable assets, and yung risk doon is what if may delay, what if it doesn't turn out the way they want it to be, and then that will have an impact also dun sa earnings nila. So it's true that renewable is the future. It's true that Ayala is one of the best brands also, and one of the parang in terms of uh, corporate governance, sobrang galing nila, but there's also parang in the middle there's a lot of things that also could that could happen as well. So I think that's one of the things people need to factor in also, if they want to hold on to it for 10 years as well.
Oh, pero impressive yung numbers niya so
Yeah.
far.
Yeah.
From a revenue perspective, operating profit perspective, not bad. Its margin of safety is 17%. I'd wait for it to go down a bit more if I want to get a good discount
Got it.
based on future value.
So below 6 pa, 5, ganyan.
Siguro. Mm.
Got it. Okay. Genmark Matula from YouTube also. Example, you have REITs. Do you need to buy stocks every time there's a declaration of dividends, or as long as you have the REITs in your portfolio, you can receive the dividends as well? Mabilis na to. So, yun, if you're holding on to it, no, wala na yan, automatic na yan, you will receive it. Yung magbabago lang dyan if you start buying more, and then yung pagbili mo, it's after the X date, so you don't get anything from that. You get something for the next year. Tapos I'll say this also, since May 2023 na, if you buy a stock today, you won't, tapos nagko-compute kayo ng dividend yield, whatever you compute na dividend yield for next year na yan, kasi di nyo na makukuha na buo eh. Some nagbigay na ng isa this year. So, most likely, whatever you compute will be for next year. You'll definitely get something that's lower for today. Sabi ni Gadi, present siya, nagpa-attendance, pinagtawanan ka ni Aris, sabi mo mine, ito mga bossing. Ayan, ito.
Yan ang masakit na ghosting, ano? Yung dating nagbibigay ng dividend, wala na lang, dead man.
yung interesting doon, and yung I think mahirap ma-predict for the next few years is that nag-special dividend sila. So some people factor it in na magse-special ulit yan next year.
Oo.
Special siya, so you don't know, that's something that they can easily pull out also. Or possibly yung regular nga pwede rin nila slash yun eh. So yun lang yung I think risk also sa dividends is if it's not, that's why I like REITs eh, kasi predictable, alam mo na yung lease niya is for a specific period at alam mo yung occupancy rate niya. So more or less hindi na siya lalabas dun sa rate na yun. Pero that's not the case for other companies na what if natamaan yung income, it will also significantly parang sever the rates that they would give out as well.
Guys, may tatanong ako kay Marvin.
Okay.
At input natin si Marvin on the spot. Ilan sa stock sa portfolio mo ang regular na nagbibigay ng dividends?
Naka-mix eh. So I have a portfolio na pang dividends talaga. Then I have a portfolio na hindi siya pang dividends. So for example, yung mga hindi pang dividends, URC gives dividends pero it's relatively slow. AC also has, but it's relatively slow. So the way I treat it, meron talagang portfolio that's intended for dividends. And lahat yun, 100%, I'm yung isa sa parameter ko dun sa dividend portfolio is that as long as the dividend that they give out is above 5%, I'm okay na that. So I'm okay with that. That's where you'll see the Meralcos, that's where you'll see the PLDTs, the Globes, some of the REITs that we actually have. Then dun sa non-dividend portfolio, nagbago din yung style ko through the years. Parang when you look at it from a portfolio perspective, may mga stocks doon na down, may mga stocks na up. So what I do is the one that's lower from a portfolio perspective, I add more into that. Then I start selling yung up also with the perspective na nagro-rotate lang siya na yung down ngayon, after a few months, sila na yung nag-up, and then I start to lessen, I start to lessen from that. So, yung doon sa portfolio na yun, na kahit wala siyang dividends na binibigay, okay lang sa akin. Pero, merong iba doon na nagbibigay, pero nagkataon lang na nagbibigay siya. I'm not buying it just because it would give out dividends. So, for example, there was a time na I had DMC. DMC is one of the historically ones that would give out good dividends. Pero my intention for that was to sell it also at a higher price. So, yun, once I was okay already with selling, I sold it regardless if maganda pa yung dividends niya in the future. So, naka-split talaga siya.
Follow-up question po, sir. Follow-up question po. Wala ba magpa-follow-up question dyan? What was the thinking behind it? Why were you creating two different portfolios, one for dividend investing, another one for capital appreciation mostly?
Kasi I don't want to touch capital appreciation, meaning yung returns from capital appreciation, I use it to buy dividend stocks, or I use it to buy more stocks also. Then, if yung rationale ko is at a certain point na kung talagang kailangan ko, I start removing yung what I get from the dividends that I normally get. So yun yung gagamitin ko for cash flow should I need it. So I don't want to take out money na galing sa capital appreciation kasi you lessen your base eh. Pero hindi okay lang sa akin to take out money from dividends because your base will be intact regardless there. So if you will sum up everything that I said, my goal for capital appreciation is that it enables me to just buy more dividend stocks. And since pinambili ko ng dividend stocks galing sa capital appreciation, risk-free na siya kasi galing na siya galing niya siya sa return. So regardless if the market drops 50% next year, okay lang sa akin kasi galing siya sa return. It becomes risky or scary pag fresh capital na galing sa trabaho mo yung linagay mo. Pero when I'm putting gains from capital appreciation to buy dividend stocks, okay na sa akin. So I can hold on to that for a long time kasi ano naman na siya, what do you call this? Galing na siya sa capital appreciation.
Isa pa pong tanong.
Sige.
Ilang percent na yung stocks sa total portfolio mo? Ilang percent yung crypto?
I have
Grabe, kaya sobrang yaman nito ni Marvin Gormo. Kasi magkakasama kami nung nagsimula siyang bumili ng crypto. Kinukwento niya pa sa akin sa Dubai Airport. Sabi niya, maglalagay na ako sa crypto. Ang tagal na nun, imagine.
Yeah, sa Dubai. I remember, yeah, that was 20.
Magkakasama tayo nun eh.
I think now I have more, parang kung i-add ko lahat, mas malaki cash total. I'm weighted more in cash, pero it's not because of the lack of confidence in the stock market or the crypto market. It's because there might be a change in life stage that maybe later on ko kakwento, mga a few years later ko kakwento, but it's more of that. Yung proportion niya.
Huwag mo ko iwan dito sa Pilipinas.
I can well, yung proportion niya, I think.
Baka lumipat ka ng Davao. Or Ilocos Sur.
Batangas Valley. yung proportion niya, I think, kasi yung entire crypto market is relatively lower than the stock market. There was a time kasi na sobrang disproportion crypto tsaka stocks. Now I think it's still crypto now. I think pero yun, yung overall weighting niya, I think I have more on cash versus stocks. Cash versus stocks, I have more cash. Cash versus crypto, I have more cash also. I think parang ganun siya.
Nice.
Did I answer your? I don't know if I answered. So pero ano yun? Yes, it's not for the lack of being aggressive or not. Ano lang talaga, may mga financial life stages tayo na changes. More of that lang.
Oh, that's what financial planning is all about. Money is supposed to make your dreams come true.
And it could be different things, second baby, or di ba,
yeah.
Or hindi ko alam, joke lang yun, pero it could mean a lot. It could mean a lot of things. So yun. Did I answer your question?
Oo, sabi ko nga, money is supposed to make your dreams come true. It's not that we're always dreaming of what we want to do about money because money is not life.
Yun.
Diba?
Yun. Okay.
Life makes, money makes life happen.
Salve, it's
Kailangan
9:59.
natin. Yes,
9:59.
yes, yes.
Are you okay still to answer some questions? Alam ko, mahalaga yung oras mo. We have 174 joining us across LinkedIn and Facebook. How many minutes can you still... Ako,
Sige,
I have to respect your time also. So, how
maybe
many...
final five?
Final five. Okay, okay. So, final five. Let's pick na lang how... good evening po. So, read question, nabasa ko na yan. Ito, gusto to ni Sal. Pero si Cornelius din to. So, para fair
Iba
naman.
naman. Oo.
Let's see. Ito, Brian Clemente. If I want to invest for family savings, what would be the best dividend stock to hold? Yan.
Yan, ikaw. Sige, game.
Di ko alam kung ano best kasi rule ko lang kasi as long as I get above 5%, masaya na ako. Tapos I don't hindi ko kasi plan hindi ko siya plan ibenta later on, or hindi ko naman sinasabi hindi ko siya bibenta, pero I have no intention of selling it after 8 months or 16 months kasi habang ko mapeg ko lang yung 5% na makukuha ko na return, okay na ako dun sa cash flow na makukuha ko eh. So I think it's more important to get rules that you can follow, that will allow you to buy. So far, Meralco was above 5. C-REIT is definitely above 5. So A-REIT, may times na bumababa siya ng 5 siya binibili doon. Tapos when it goes down in price, above 5 siya ulit, I would buy that. Then madami sa mga REITs eh. I like M-REIT, RCR, and then PLDT. PLDT is interesting. Actually, PLDT is interesting. Ito, may babato ko sa iyo, Salve.
Historical yun.
PLDT is around 1.2 right now, pero their dividends is close to 9-10% already. Would you get that, given that mataas yung dividend yield na pwede mo makuha doon?
Kung ang purpose mo kasi dividends, then the price is secondary.
Pero would you be, parang is what's happening around the company be parang a deterrent also for you to get into it also, or parang as long as they fulfill the dividend, yung fear kasi doon is pagkabili mo sa kanya, baka hindi rin niya masustain yun, parang gano'n.
Ako, I still feel that PLDT is still a strong part of this industry. Did you see the news a couple of days ago na siya pa rin naman ang may pinakamalaking backbone. And the telco industry is still very strong. Population growth of the Philippines continues to grow higher, and therefore the need for connectivity, especially now in the age of AI, 'di ba? Will still make sure that this industry is a relevant portion of all our portfolios. The difficulty with the difficulty with the company and the group of companies will be solved, I believe. It's just feeling ko it's a hiccup. It will be solved.
Got it.
So I'm still bullish on Intel.
So yun lang sa I'm a very simple person pagdating sa ganun. At least 5%. And then nakita ko the past few years naman they've been very, very consistent in giving it. And so far yung mga nabanggit ko from Meralco, yung Globe though, bumaba yung dividends niya, parang bumaba yung dividends niya this year compared to what it gave out. So parang that's something I'm watching out for kasi it's important sa akin yung makukuha ko na dividend sa kanila on a regular basis. So that being said, though, may question ako. One of the higher ones also, hindi ko pa siya nabanggit, pero one of the higher ones is GMA7. Would you still go into that given the drop in income that they have? Kasi kung if you look at yung anatomy of what I've mentioned earlier that I like, medyo alam ko medyo predictable yung revenue streams nila from REITs to Meralco to PLDT. Relatively you have a sense of it's something that's predictable. For GMA7, the spike came noong 2020 naman eh, and then prior to that historically they have been high, but now also at 9-10% dividend yield, would you still like it? And then given na baka bumaba pa siya later on?
I will say this, all media companies are threatened. Here in the Philippines and around the world. And you know what is happening with AI, di ba? And
Hmm.
everything that is happening. There are so many different ways now to consume news. It is threatened. So, kahit sabi ko kanina 50-50 ako, even with the dividend rate.
Actually, Salvia, amin ako. Hindi si Marvin Germo, AI na to. So, nakaprogram.
Bakit? Kala niyo ba si Salve Duplito to?
AI na talaga to. So, we have one question. So, last four to go. Hala, nalampasan ko na yung iba.
Dumami lalo eh.
Um, Nawala. Wait lang. I'm trying to look for more questions para fair din naman sa iba. Madami rin nagtatanong sa sa PLDT at tapos ito may nagtatanong ng jowa. Okay, wait lang. O Lodi ka daw sa there's a lot of dividend or REITs questions we've answered. I think we've answered that.
Similar yan kasi ang performance eh.
Oh, there's a lot.
Hi, Jonathan Recto watching. Ang galing kumanta yan.
Talaga dapat pinapasample natin. May
Dapat sample.
Salamat sa iyo. Loss naman. So this is nice to talk about. Good evening. What would you recommend if you own a REIT stock that is down 33% in terms of capital invested? I'm trying to understand why the financials decreased pero ang laki kasi ng loss niya. Pero konti lang naman yung REITs na down no more than that. So how would you speak into that?
I look at the trend rather than just events. And as a general rule, I look at trends because events just trigger things for me to look at. But when I see that there's a pattern, I could sell. But depending on fundamentals, of course.
Got it. I'll answer it. Kaya, di ko alam kung pareho tayo.
Kasi yan, masakit na yan, 33% eh.
Hindi ko kasi alam kung pareho kami ng kung anong stock yung tinutukoy niya. Pero I'm just assuming na it's this particular stock. If yung problem dun sa stock na yun, meron talagang hit din talaga dun sa siniservice niya na client rentals also eh.
BPOs. Alam ko na to.
So very very important din kung umalis yung kliyente mo na nagre-rent doon, it places fundamentally speaking to kasi it affects the business also. So if it affects yung nagre-rent, then it will also affect the dividends later on also. And people need to realize also that the stock market is sentiment driven, that when people see that tapos vis-a-vis versus other companies na REITs also that walang ganung risk, parang it might be a better approach for them to sell that and then transfer it here, given that they take out a loss here. Tapos when everyone thinks that way, kaya siya lalo bumabagsak. And then kung over a period of time hindi naman sila nagpapakita also ng either significantly higher REITs that will cause people to convincingly transfer or talagang make convincing change also dun sa revenue, the stock may stay at that particular point. Di ko alam kung anong marirecommend eh. So I guess what you could look at also is, I'll answer it from a dividend standpoint. If hindi na niya nai-hit yung dividend yield na gusto ko, that could be a trigger also for me. Pero another question doon is kung may cash ka, would you put it there? Kasi it will give you maybe a higher dividend yield, or would it be put sa alam mo na mas consistent yung revenue mo makukuha later on, tapos at least may certainty pa dun sa rental income.
Mars, parang feeling ko may mga naipit na kasi may mga umiiyak na sa YouTube. Face pink tears, sabi ni Joshua. I think that's a reaction to what you were talking about. People probably know what it is.
And I think that's one thing to also consider, that it's not in a vacuum. Madami siyang kalaban na REITs also that does the same thing. And then you have other companies that keep adding properties in it. And then what happens to yung others that aren't also, kasi it's underperforming. So yun lang yung magiging contention niya, na if there will be fresh funds people will go with the story that's actually better, and then giving them if almost the same or better yields also. So parang
Wala bang way for them to change, to pivot?
ah ako kasi kung ako yun, tas I don't get the yields that I want, I'll sell eh. So okay lang sa akin kahit
Hindi,
may
kung
loss.
ikaw yung may-ari. Like, thinking about the owners.
Ah, I
Because
think
I don't think the Pogos are coming back.
I think they can get more I think they can get more tenants naman ulit eh. Prime area naman, prime location. So it's depende sa sales team nila. I don't know. I think if it goes back to full occupancy, edi the revenues are there, then the dividends will pick up also again, and then suddenly it looks undervalued kasi mataas na yung dividends and people start buying it, and then aakyat siya. And pero ito rin yung gusto kong ma-realize also sa dividend investing, that if you hold on to it, you have to realize that uh, as long as you get the dividend yields that you want, there will be times na down talaga siya eh. Kasi at magda-down siya, that you have to experience pain na hindi siya umaakyat eh. Pero as long as you get parang you treat it like a bond, parang everything in the
Yeah.
middle until it matures, that
Actually,
doesn't matter
that's
also.
the recommendation talaga. When you look at REITs, you treat it as if it's fixed income. So, secondary lang yung capital appreciation, because actually, because of the dividend payments that are required by government, the stock price really will not go high. Well, the capital appreciation talaga, hindi ganun kalaki.
Tsaka may gusto pa akong sabihin. May gusto pa
Sorry.
Yun, no. Ito, you look at it from this perspective. Madaming nagre-REITs also, parang nakita nila, it's a good parallel versus buying a condo tapos paparent nila. Pag bumili ka naman ng condo, it doesn't matter kung nag-appreciate na yung condo mo over the next 6 months. So, you look at it from that perspective. Pero yung gusto ko lang kasi sa REITs is, hindi mo na kailangan mag-encash ng cheque, hindi mo na kailangan deposit, diretso na siya makikredit sa account mo, tapos yung taxes nun withheld na. So, ang daming convenience na nabibigay niya. But yun yung approach ko sa REITs. I really look at it as something that gives me cash flow. If it's not serving its purpose anymore, part talaga ng market yun. Sometimes you have to
Yeah.
sell it at loss. You have to sell it at a loss eh. And that's why conversations like this are important kasi how do I say this? People who enter REITs or the stock market or in general, parang they have to realize that no matter how fundamentally sound the company that they buy, there will come a point also that they have to make a decision if they have to bite the bullet also, and they might have to sell it also at a loss. Part yun ng market eh. You can't really get into the market na gains lang lagi or kita ka lang lagi or bibenta mo lang siya lagi ng up eh. And then similar to our discussion sa MPI, that's one example already na eto wala ka talagang choice eh. Either mag-private ka or you sell it depending on what price you bought it also. Yun.
Totally agree.
Napatagal tayo doon. Eto na. Siguro last two na lang. Martin C. Is it ever okay to change your plan in the middle of a position? Say I intend to trade materialize for a year, but I'm already happy with its current price. Should I ditch my game plan? Meaning, gusto niya mag-trade, bibenta niya in 1 year, pero masaya na siya ngayon. Should he sell it? Pero hindi naman yun yung plano niya, pero masaya na daw siya sa kinita niya.
When I answered kasi investment philosophy, it's broad strokes. The tactical decisions are this. So, kunwari, momentum ka. Sa base sa pag-aaral mo, 1 taon, pero you found your gains na, why hold on to it? You're happy with it, then sell it. Get your money. So long as you're still within that investment philosophy, same investment philosophy that you were in. Different matter if you chose some other investment philosophy, like you're a value investor, then you shouldn't trade. Diba? No speculation.
How would I answer this? There's 2 ways to go about it. You can either look at it from a skills building approach or a revenue standpoint. Pag skills building approach, sagot ko dyan, don't sell it kasi you're deviating from your plan. And if you deviate from your plan, the next time you're faced with that situation again, wala kang parang babalikan na ito yung ginawa ko dati. So if you're looking at it from a perspective na gusto mong gumaling, uh, stick to your plan so that later on parang you already know ito nangyari sa akin, hindi ko siya binenta kagad, so I I I got a lesser gain because I waited also for my plan to materialize. So the next time it happens, sa next trade mo, baka I need to tweak something with it. Then second part is if you're looking at it from a parang earning, uh, if you're selling it just because you're being emotional, then I'd say don't sell it because uh, you don't make emotional decisions whether down or up for trading or for buying or for selling. It's something that has to be logical. Pero ito rin yung gusto ko sabihin na no one ever lost money by taking profit. So if you want to secure that also tapos baka kailangan mo na rin talaga or there's something that you may use it from. Okay lang naman eh. Quoting yung sinabi ni Salvin na parang it's something that you can use also to make you happy or make your dreams come true. Benta mo na parang ganun, 'di ba? Or parang may bahay ka na talagang binabantayan dati pa tapos biglang nag-open siya. Tapos alam mong sandali lang siya mag-open kasi baka may bumili na. Kesa using to your plan, eto pangarap mo tong bilhin eh, binibenta na ng may-ari, aalis sa States, tas di mo alam kung if that will ever happen again. Di, gamitin mo na yung pera. So, I think it goes to what also you value more. Is it the revenue or parang the skills that are attached to it also?
Yeah.
Yun. Okay, last na lang. May nag-hi. Ito na lang last. Kung may existing dividend stock na po ako and planning to add another portfolio, mas okay po ba ang REIT? Puro dividend, yan, ikaw, what will you do? High dividend yielding stock or very situational pero do you have a comment on that?
Kung may existing dividend sa planning to ano. Again, depending kasi on your objective, di ba? Ang hirap kasi sumagot ng mga ganito pag hindi mo alam yung background na situation. So we just have to make certain assumptions on your background. Feeling ko, if you want to do a little more diversification because the rest of your portfolio is in one industry or is in one type of stock, then you can go with a different one para meron kang diversification in your portfolio. You know, let me just share what I've read and what I've found to be true in my own investment journey. Yung return mo will not be based so much on your decision on what stock or REIT or ganyan to buy, but on the way you do asset allocation. Okay? So kung wala kang asset allocation strategy, bili ka lang ng bili. And I know a lot of people who do this, they show me their portfolio and I'm like, what was your thinking behind all of this? Wala lang. 'Di ba? Kailangan may asset allocation strategy ka muna. How do you do asset allocation? Ito si Marvin, sabi niya dividends kasi kailangan ko cash flow. Ito naman capital appreciation kasi ganyan. 'Di ba? Meron kang purpose for all of that and then you keep it within the percentages so that you can get the maximum yield that you can get. So, share ko lang yon as a background on why you need to diversify also because if the most expensive and riskiest portfolio is a portfolio made up of one type of investment lang.
Siguro answer ko lang dyan. The word ok is, tanong niya, ano po mas ok? The word ok is something very subjective eh. Parang, is it okay to buy a BMW or a Audi or a Mercedes-Benz? Parang it's very subjective. Ako gagawin ko, you have a watch list. Parang for example, you have 10 dividend stocks na watch list. Tapos lima na yung meron ka doon. Bilhin mo yung rank number 6 if you really want to add onto it. You don't have to buy LTG or another REIT if it's not part of what you're actually buying just for the sake of diversify. So siguro what I'm saying is don't diversify just for the sake of diversification.
Naman. I agree.
Pag binili mo siya tapos hindi mo naman talaga masyadong naaral, di just buy the same. Pero for example, plano mo na talaga na if your portfolio hits a certain amount and then 5 na yung stocks mo and then you really feel that kailangan ko na yata i-diversify to a 6 stock also para ay hindi na masyado malaki yung position ko dito sa isa para meron na ako pang 6 tapos mag-balance siya. then you go for it. Pero you go dun sa listahan mo na 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, oh, ito yung pang-anim ko, then you start buying that. So ako, ganun yung gagawin ko. So with that, Salve, two things. Number one, what can they expect from you from Icon 2023? And then your pampaiyak na message para sa mga tao na naghintay until the end.
Why did you make everybody Hi, Kevin. Okay, so in Icon, I don't know yet.
Okay.
Hinihintay ko pa ang sasabihin ng langit kung ano yung message that, thinking of a message for a very big event like this is something that has its own process and its own discernment. And I really don't want to disappoint because sobrang taas ng pressure, guys. Pag Icon, lahat nandun. Kaya dapat galingan mo talaga. Mapapahiya tayo dyan pag hindi maganda yung message natin. So, but
Mayaman ka
what
naman.
do they expect? Ha?
Mayaman ka naman, so okay lang yun. Yung
Hindi
share,
ah.
share.
Hindi ah. Mas importante yung credibility tsaka authenticity kaysa sa lahat ng bagay. So, that's it. That's what you can expect more from me is perhaps because this is the Salve Duplito entrepreneur era. So, I want to talk about entrepreneurship also as a part of your financial journey and why sometimes it's one of the best things that we can do before we turn 60 years old. Matagal pa naman yun, guys. Hindi ko pa naman sinasabi na magsisisenta na tayo. But it's also important at this stage in my life maybe to talk about the not just the successes but the difficulties and all of the pitfalls that we need to watch out for. Of course, I have not changed my investment philosophy, so it's still value investing. It's still, maybe I can talk about, maybe you can tell me what you want me to talk about. Maybe you can type in the chat box what you want me to talk about.
Meron nagsasabi ka ano gusto nila para sa iyo eh. Gusto nila
Ano?
sumakbo ka sa Congress eh. Oh.
Grabe po.
Gusto nila gawa tayo Salveses party list, guys. Comment below kung gusto niyo ng Salveses party list.
Naku, magsisimula ka na naman. You know, he started this YouTube thing with I Love Salve. Ano ba yung gusto kong sabihin? Yan, wala tuloy ako.
Sorry.
But I think, because a lot of people are saying in this day and age of robots doing portfolio analysis and all of those things, that value investing doesn't work anymore. Parang every time naman may crisis, Marv, sinasabi yan eh. This certain philosophy doesn't work. That philosophy doesn't work. So perhaps that's one of the things that I want to talk about. You let me know. What do you want me to talk
Put it
about?
down in the comment section below. Tapos anong selfie gusto nyo with Salve Duplito. So guys, there's a promo. That's a QR code. Just check it out later on or watch it sa replay if you want to see it. And then Salve, the floor is yours. Payakin mo na kami lahat. Let's go!
Naku, grabe naman to. Yan, tuloy ang laki ng mukha ko. You know, guys, I just want to let you know, there was event that we did last Saturday and I was asked by the owner of this international forwarding company to do 2 types of financial training for their employees. So mga mga courier, mga delivery boy. Baka mamaya yung iba sa kanila nag-deliver na sa'yo ng mga gamit dyan, mga Nike shoes ninyo and mga ganon-ganon. And one of the things that happened was I danced. Napasayaw ako dahil, I really wanted them to be super engaged in the process of saving money, investing, preparing for difficulties like yung nauubusan ka na ng pera pambayad sa ospital. Yun yung ayaw na ayaw ko nangyayari sa mga tao. So when we went there, yun, sumayaw lola nyo, nakipagsigawan, nakipagkulitan, umikot ako, talagang naubos lahat ng pawis ko, tumulo lahat ng pawis ko. And this is what I just learned kanina. Sabi nung HR manager, I challenged kasi the delivery boys. Sabi ko sa kanila, kung kaya nyo mag-gin bilog ng Sabado-Linggo, kaya nyo mag-ipon ng 25 pesos per day. So, ang challenge ko sa kanila is every day from Monday to Friday, mag-ipon kayo 25 pesos. That's 500 pesos per month. That's 6,000 pesos in a year. So, I kept saying this, pero hindi ko talaga alam kung gagawin nila. And just this morning, the HR manager said, Salves, yung isang courier namin, Lumapit na, tapos sabi, is salary deduction sa kanya kasi iipon niya yun for his emergency fund. You know how fulfilled that made me feel. I mean, sometimes the things that we say, we don't know if that's going to impact another soul, another spirit, another life, di ba? Pero while a lot of things happen in our lives today, hindi natin makokontrol yung GDP, hindi natin makokontrol yung inflation, but the way we can help people realize the value of the 25 pesos, then we could make this space a little better to live in, right? We have a project with the Department of Education doing financial planning for teachers na baon sa utang dahil may mga cancer, nagdadialysis, the most difficult cases, yan ang kinuha natin, ladies and gentlemen. Pero even though it's very hard, somebody has 500, 700,000 debt, ang take-home pay nila ay 3,000 piso na lang. How do you do financial planning for that? It all starts here. So just like you, the ones who are watching here right now, you're already way ahead of everybody I talked about in this last final spiel. You are already way ahead. You will make mistakes, I know this. And there are times that when you make mistakes, you will beat yourself up and you will tell yourself, wala na ako pag-asa, magsha-shopping na lang ako, magpapabudol na lang ako. Depression galore, di ba? But remember this, for every single one of you, there are 10 more people waiting for your influence, waiting for the words that you can tell them, waiting for the things that you can share with them. So you go to Icon 2023, let's chat, let's talk to each other, let's share our stories, and let's create an army of investors who will help other investors. That's all, Marvs!
Grabe, nakakaiyak. Nakakaiyak naman. So,
Ayun ka na naman.
iyak kayo doon. Ang dami, dati kanina party list lang yung Salve for President.
Grabe.
Salve, before I let you go, sa mga hindi makakapunta ng Icon, how can they reach you? Where can they watch you? What are the avenues on where they could actually consult you? How can it be done? Or parang do you accommodate pag nakasalubong ka nila? Pwede ka ba makipag-selfie sa kanila? Papansinin mo ba sila?
Nagpicture ako kasi natawa ako doon. Ay, thank you, Louie. Maraming salamat. Ikaw ba yun? Kasalanan ni Marvin bakit ako may YouTube channel. And now we're using the YouTube channel to provide mga basics 101 but also advanced. And eventually, very soon, I don't know, but we're trying to come up with a Netflix for personal finance. We don't know yet if you pray for me that it will happen. If you want to watch me, you can watch me on DCMM Teleradio. That's on YouTube and Facebook every 4 p.m. Lalong-lalo na sa mga OFW, please watch that. DZMM Teleradio, 4 to 5 p.m. every Friday. Sometimes I'm still on ANC. There are still episodes of ANC On The Money for the original On The Money viewers here. Meron pa rin po tayo nun. And of course, on YouTube, Salve's YouTube channel, which is Marvin's Big Idea. Alam nyo, kung hindi nyo alam ang storya, malamang alam nyo kasi isa kayo dun sa mga nambudol sa akin na I love you, Salve. Kasi sabi ko, hindi ako mag-create ng YouTube channel kung wala akong 100 ba yun, Marvs? Kung wala akong I love Salve sa comment section.
Salve, grabe ka talaga. Alam mo gano'n ka kagrabe?
Ano?
Pati mami ko napakomment, Mami ko.
Thank
Ibang
you
klase.
po.
Talaga, grabe.
Screenshot ko muna.
Oh. Tapos, ang dami mga slogan, Salve, sagot sa kahirapan. Wow, praying for you po.
Thank you. Grabe. Sobrang, I am humbled, and also because, and I keep telling people this, sabi ko sa kanila, the person I have met who is the kindest, most generous person in the world is Marvin.
Talaga?
Hindi talaga matatawaran yung generosity mo. Like, alam mo yun, when you told by your viewers, mag-unfollow na kayo sa akin, dun kayo kay Salve mag-follow.
Nag-unfollow talaga sila. Totoo, nag-unfollow.
They will never unfollow you.
Ako si Aris, nanonood lang pagkasama ka. Di ba?
Ala, Aris, sagot ka nagtatampo.
Joke lang.
Lago, tawa na
Kasi,
yan si
kasi
Admin,
yun,
I
kasi
swear.
yun.
But he always says this na lifesaver kanya ni Aris. He always tells me, and he always says this pag meron kami mga show. Thank you, Louie. Maraming salamat. And it's because, as I said, hindi naman talaga be all and end all ang personal finance kasi there are so many other things happening in a person's life na hindi masosolve ng personal finance. But once you are able to handle money properly, nabawasan ka na ng isang aspect ng buhay na can actually change everything else. Parang cancer kasi yung financial problems, di ba? It's just one part of your body, but pag hindi mo inasikaso, pwedeng madedo. So, mas mabuti na you take it out.
Salve,
Take it out.
may tanong ako, pero hindi ako yung magpa-pursue nito, pero baka isa sa mga nanonood sa atin. Kasi para manalo ng isang party list, kailangan mo na ng 300,000 votes eh. So, I'm just
Konti, no? Grabe, ilan ba followers mo?
300,000 votes. So, isn't it parang feasible na yung mga nanonood dito, sila mismo mag-push na Salve says party list inclusion sa Filipinos? 'Di ba? Baka manalo ka pa 3 seats, 'di ba? Baka may is that conceivable na kunyari sabi mo nagsimula yung YouTube channel mo dahil sa YouTube? Is it possible that there will be like a financial inclusion party list na yan, daming mga manunod nito pati sa replay pa later on na baka sila yung mag-push na, kami na lang mag-volunteer, will help push that. Would you say yes to that also?
I am not sure. That is a question that grabe to, mambudol talaga si Marvin Gaye. Tingnan mo na sinasabi ng mga tao. Lagi kami tinataboy ni Marvin. Financial literacy party list. Either that or what I really was planning to create was a Bureau of Financial Education that will have, will work with government agencies to make sure that our economy is inclusive. Representative Salve, grabe kayo. But thank you. I am humbled and I am touched by all of your
Ito
loving
may
messages.
pasabog po. Ito talaga yung bold forecast to. Pag si Salve first world country na tayo. Di ba? Hindi, tagal niyo ako. Wala akong maambag dyan. Hindi ako maka-add dyan.
Uy, hindi totoo yun Marbs. Hindi totoo yun. Grabe yung share of voice mo, let me just say.
Para maging first world, sa powers mo na lang yan. Matatanggal mo yung, hindi lang sa kahirapan, pero yung buong ekonomiya from developing country to first world, di ba? Kaya nga, ang dami nagsasabi yun. Sabi ko, Kimbert, Salve para sa kongreso ba tayo, pero handa ka bang ikaw yung isa sa mag-spearhead nito? Meron nito, si Dayang, 30 million sa party list. Ang dami na.
Grabe po yan. Again, I'm really touched, but I don't know if this will happen in my lifetime. Baka kayo na, the younger ones who are here, kayo na magdala ng baton. Actually. Hello? Nag-freeze ba ako? O si Marvin ang nag-freeze? Ano nangyari? Ako ba? Ako ba ang nag-freeze? Hello?
Na-censor ako. Joke lang.
Na-censor?
Joke lang. Pero ito pa, dami mga pasabog. Sabi nila, pag ikaw daw, hindi ka makukulang ng pondo. Di ba? Ang dami. Mas maganda pala yung ending portion. Ayan, abang ka na daw nila. Yan, ikaw daw talaga yung representative. Di ba? Salbahin mo na kami, Salve.
Grabe po. Grabe.
Mas gusto ko yung last week.
Nakakatakot.
Di ba?
Naiyak na.
Pero Salve for kasi yung problem pag nag-secretary siya, she has to be appointed. Hindi niya control din. Pero kung makakuha ka ng 300,000 votes, patok na agad siya. So, 'di ba, kayang-kaya yun. Hindi ako makakaambag diyan, pero ako lang yung magna-nudge doon sa whoever na comment.
Magbibenta siya ng isang Bitcoin.
Dayang, baka gusto mo. Di ba? Ito pa medyo controversial. Pag si Salve. Ayan na.
Grabe ka.
First world na. First world na, mas 20 kilo ng... Normally, pag first world,
pag first world,
mas mahal yung cost of living eh. Pero ikaw, First world na, tapos lower pa yung
Mababa
cost.
pa.
Diba?
20 per kilo ng palay pa, kaya.
Yan yung, so at least iba may
Ayaw natin
platform,
mag-promise.
may plataforma ka na, ayan, ang dami na, abangan ka daw nila sa next election. O, di ba?
Mga loko-loko tong viewers mo talaga.
O elemental pa lang, may investment portfolio na. Ang dami mong ambag. So yun. Sige, medyo wala na kayong natutunan sa pero sa mga kuryoso doon, just go straight to her channel. Then, message na lang. Ano ba mga yun? 2023? Election na pala next year, no? 2025, 2 years to go before 2 years to go before election. So, you guys and the Salve Duplito, Salve community have 2 years to prepare. Okay, so make the announcement next year para parang 1 year to parang create awareness for people. Yun.
Ay nako, yan talagang hindi ko pinangarap pumasok ng politika.
Pero yun yung mga nananalo, di ba? Yung hindi nila pinangarap pumasok sa politika. Di ba?
Ay nako.
So, dami pa. Pag si Idol Salve ang naging representative, hindi masusunog board ko.
Grabe po! Nakakaloka naman yan. Expectations. Okay, ayos naman po. Si Marvin.
Kailan ko makita ng comment na ganyan? Hindi masusunog. So yun. Di ba, hindi icon na ano na to, pero more of your future. So, yun lang. Thank you, everyone. To everyone who watched this, I hope that this was something that was useful for all of you. Thank you, Salve, for giving us all of the time also. Sobrang nag-extend na tayo. Ayun na, may nag-volunteer na campaign manager. Hindi ako maka-ending. May nagkakamali. Don't see. Message mo siya, Salve, yes, na ano. Ayun na. We're starting something. Okay, wala may portfolio na daw.
Aray ko.
But everyone, puntahan nyo sa Salve, you can talk to her sa Icon, and then lahat ng mga plans nyo for her political career. So, Salve, thank you so much for joining us, and to everyone, I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon. God bless you all. Thank you. Bye, Salve. Have a good day.
There's no perfect investments, and that's the reason why there's Icon. People are going to talk to you about stocks, people talk to you about funds, people talk about the VOL, people talk to you about properties, people talk to you about business. We even have blockchain later on. Why? We need you to understand that there's no one perfect formula. That's why you have to diversify your investment. Very, very important as you learn all of these things is this. Practice due diligence. In anything. In investing, in a bank, in an insurance, in a property, practice due diligence.
There is a law, natural law called the law of diminishing returns. So even if I add more, it will diminish because the capacity has to expand before you can expand.
Ano yung importante sa'yo? Walang tama o mali dito. Unfortunately, dahil nga sa ingay sa labas, hindi mo alam kung anong gusto mo talaga at importante sa'yo. Pag wala ka nito, sasama ka sa ibang tao. Kung ano importante sa kanila, join ka din. So it is very important to find out ano ang gusto mo because eventually, lahat yan nanggagaling sa beliefs.
The economy was created to serve society in order to improve our human condition. So as part of the economy, as investors, you're supposed to be contributing to a better society for everyone.
Leverage is a very aggressive strategy. Proceed with caution. Never borrow money that you cannot pay. Yes. And I think this is just to open your minds about leverage, and this is really how the wealthy businessman thinks.
It is only by tracking your finances you'll be able to know how to maneuver, how to control, and you'll see ano ba yung lifestyle mo that you want to maintain from today until you age.
What we are good at in the market is this. We're good at helping incubate the growth of vendors because we know everybody in the ecosystem. We know people who finance, we know people who provide HR, we know people who provide marketing, we know people who provide sanitation and hygiene. So we are the best people to grow those businesses.
So, Why is understanding money critical for women, OFWs, and the next generation? Why? Because what is a nation but a collection of its people?
It's about our personalities. And it has a deep and it has a big impact in everything that we do, including how we handle money, including how we make decisions, and how we keep money, make money, save, and actually invest.
So stocks, recurring assets, recurring income assets, and fast capital appreciation assets. Those are the three things that we have to hold during our lifetime and work for. The second thing is, I'm very excited about the future. I am not bullish because there are many other things we have to sort out before I become bullish, but the future looks very bright.
Financial expert years, just like Marvin, just like Rex, Carl, Jason, the rest of the team, they could update you. But I strongly advise that you also take your personal journey. Read their books, try to read, try to expand your knowledge.
I want whatever is said here will cause you to execute and do something. Because it's time for Filipinos, it's time for you guys to prosper. Why? Because we're the 1%. Your friends are looking at you. The more Filipinos, good Filipinos, have more than enough, you get to be a blessing to the people around you. When you have more than enough, you're now looking for people who you can bless and who you can so. And for me, the stock market is one of the best ways for you to do it. I suggest you invest now because this is one of the best times to invest.
Overcoming obstacles create momentum. Today is momentum. You know why? You paid money for this seminar. It starts something. It is starting something because you're creating something that gets the ball rolling.